Alright. I think this is up and running. Trying out new setup. I've got a new capture card for my consoles. I'm going to be playing through Lost Odyssey. It's one of my favorite games. I've played through it maybe 4 times. I have never gotten the treasure trove achievement. I've gotten every other achievement except for the stuff that they added in the DLC for it. So I'm going to do another playthrough and hopefully get treasure trove. I've got a guide to remind me of the ones that are easy to miss, and see how it goes. Spent about the last hour recovering my Xbox 360 profile because it kind of works a little bit odd on the Series X at times, but I don't want to load, I want a new game. Alright. Save battle cursor, everything else is fine. This will have, all dialogue, cutscenes, and whatever other meandering that I do, so this will be in no way a speed run. There's our main character, Kime the Immortal. Fighting on the side of Ura against, I believe, Kent? We'll find out very shortly. Straight into a battle. for this fight, we want to attack the different sides of it alternatively, because when we attack one side, it shields, so it takes less damage on the next attack. So we switch over to the other side. And we'll just keep on attacking. We could defend, we could use items, but this fight, if you're following instructions, you've got enough hit points to last through everything. That kills that side. Then we kill this side, and the blade falls back down. And we just attack it, which goes immediately into a cutscene, which I believe is skippable on speedruns. And then a catastrophe strikes. And it cares not about friend or foe, it just destroys everything. Except, of course, the immortal Kime, because, well, he's immortal. Magic like that, who needs war? Huna, what do you want? Get a little big cat camera. She wants attention, even though I've been giving her attention all night. Now that I've got my concentration on playing a game, she just wants to cuddle. Thank you for getting off. shards of wool. At the center. Come on, get off. There's an item over here somewhere. Here we go. Just bump into some machinery. Get some healing medicine. You know, instead of walking around the machinery, we'll just bump it. I guess there is lava. I'll review the tutorials just as this is a stream where I'm showing off, you know, a game that I enjoyed. But yeah, you equip rings, and then whenever you attack, you get this little circle that goes. And they add a bunch of stats effects. The time starts counting down, and you hold the right trigger. And if you let go of it in the right spot in the circle, you get a perfect. It's basically, if you do nothing or you miss the circle completely, you get a bad, which is just a normal attack. If you get it good, you get more damage, more status effects, whatever the ring gives you. And if you get perfect, you get more of those. And I think only perfects have the chance to crit. I'm not sure on that. And so we've got a damage up ring. This one, Killer Machine, came with one of the one of the DLCs. I think it might have been the pre-order DLC. You can get it on the Japanese store because you can't actually buy it, and it's free on the Japanese store. You just need a Japanese Xbox account. And I have no accessories. Oh, lava hurts. I guess that's why he wanted to put a thing there, so he didn't walk over. Now all these treasures here count towards the treasure trove achievement. But since I think this is one of the areas that you can't come back to, they also get added to the auction house later in the game, where you can buy basically anything that you missed. These guys don't even take a full hit, but then we get a nice perfect. Now I wish this had like the Mario RPG style active defense, Oh, bad. Still enough to kill him. Yeah, if it had something like that for defense, that would be cool too. But alas. Oh, I need to get the item. Came over here for a reason. Mana herb. And then I saw a little flashy bit over here. Which gives us a nameplate. I don't remember what those do. So I'll check. Oh, just a key item. Now boxes have items. Healing medicine. And a mana herb. So we can run super fast or we can walk really slow. And walking really slow makes you in the like few areas of the game where you need to like sneak past something, they make you not draw attention. I'll get used to the timing of it again. And if you're particularly bad at hitting stuff on rings, you can make ultra versions of rings later, which increase the circle size so they're easier to hit. The old RPG save rotations. Oh, my controller actually rumbled when I got near that one. We got ourselves a healing medicine. Hey, that looks like another box I can break.
The others. You alone? What's your name? Your unit?
Second Lieutenant Kai Marganoff, commander of 17th Platoon, Armored Magic Troopers.
It's a miracle you made it. Come with me. This way.
Unbelievable. One survivor.
Yeah. I think you made it up today.
Okay. Actually, I want to go back at those boxes that you had me miss. Healing medicine. And a herb. Then we can open up this treasure chest. Don't mind if I do. Let's out some whetstones. Okay, and it's basically, yeah, you get materials that you can use to craft rings, and then you can make better rings. You know, fire items make fire, water make water, damage makes damage, and then you also get the way later on to put specific two types of rings together, so you can make like a damage up and fire element or other useful combinations. Amazed that you made it out alive. You can take that armored car. It should be leaving very soon. As you can see, our force has been wiped out. Now there's anyone left alive out on the highlands. Nurse, please excuse me for a moment. This patient needs all my attention. Well, I want to talk to him. Ah, that sure showed them. We wiped those Kent scum out. That's how you go up against it. Your side lost a bunch of people too. Hurrah would never yield to the barbaric Kent beastmen. This should have been the last battle. What does it all mean? Did we win or lose? Can't believe the war ended like this. Here a meteor fell on the battlefield. Is that true? How did such a thing happen? We'll find out. Highlands of Wool became a field of the dead. Kent should reconsider their strategy now. And there's nothing else to find, so my chariot awaits. The armored car. Oops. Thank you. Oh, we gotta talk to more people in the car. Alright, since I was on the edge of the battlefield with the rest of my unit. Please just stay still. It'll hurt even more if you move around. Please excuse me for a moment. This patient needs all my attention. I want to talk to your patient. Ow, ow, ouch. Pay attention to what you're doing. This immortal's just talking to my face. See that busted up magic weapon? I can't believe their magic energy couldn't protect it. I only saw a flash of light followed by a big bang. Then everyone was wiped out front to front. What the hell was that? I was prepared to die in that battle, but I never expected to see destruction on such a scale. Oh, I talked to the dude, not the nurse. Don't worry, you'll be alright. I'm almost done with treatment. The painkillers should kick in any moment now. Then we have someone who has more detail than everyone else around them.
That's Officer Seth Thalmor with the 45th Magic Division. She's like you. She got out in one piece.
Really? You two are walking miracles.
Hey,
Actually gonna turn off the camera for a bit. Lay down a bit, enjoy the game. Turn the camera back on if my cat decides to come back. We'll see. Magic Republic of Ura.
Here's where you get off. The council wishes to hear from a survivor, sir. Sorry, not you, officer.
I could follow you, or I could loot a bunch of items. Kick all the trash cans. Want to go to the city, you should take the lift to that tower up to the monorail station. You can get right into the heart of the city with the monorail. No way to speed up going down ladders, though. Just gonna try and leave. Hey, didn't you get summoned by the council? Better get moving quickly. Where are you going? Battlefield's completely empty now. Not a thing or a soul in sight. Hey, Silver. Yep. Playing through Lost Odyssey. Gate is for vehicles only. People on foot will have to take the monorail through the station up above. I was going to start a little bit earlier, but I had difficulties recovering my Xbox 360 account on my Series X. Ended up having to remove my account completely and then re-signing in, and then it downloaded and was able to connect to my cloud storage and everything. Ooh. How do I do this again? Cargo lift doesn't work the same way as the others. I won't actually be able to use the cargo lift until a little bit later. Get a treasure. I have a soldier telling me that he lost his helmet. Where the heck could it be? Say it dropped through a gap while going up the lift. When he went back to fetch it, it was gone. Lieutenant Argonar, please use the central lift. The monorail is waiting up above. Take the lift, Lieutenant. Monorail is ready in the station above. Hey, I think I saw one of their helmets. Here you go back down. Where are you going, Lieutenant? Council wants you before them immediately. Well, you can't stop me. Got the helmet. Hey, that's a soldier's helmet. Where was it? Wow, it was stuck on there? I'll return the helmet to you, soldier. To the soldier. Thank you so much. Alright, I better repay you. Antidote pouch. That'll be useful. first accessory. And if I get in any battles, I'll start learning that skill. The soldiers that were waiting for me are gone. I don't think there's anything up here. I could double check though. No, nothing glowy, nothing looking interactable. Move, Lieutenant, stop goofing around. Station's just ahead. Let us proceed, Lieutenant. Here we find some of the harder items to find, which are these posters blowing in the wind. Have items behind them. There's one. I think there's one more. Hell has turned into our worst nightmare. Everyone was killed regardless of which side they were on. Someone in my unit reckons a lone soldier survived the tragedy at the Highland of Wool, but I can't believe anyone made it out that alive. Oh. Imagine that. Oh, there's another poster blowing in the wind. Really hard to see. Oh, can't take this side. All aboard! We'll be departing shortly. Train cars here have been put out of commission to save on maintenance costs. Can't really complain though, since people usually ride it for free. Still, it's a bit stingy of them to do this. Why don't you take a break for a moment? Once we get out of the station, we'll have to walk the rest of the way to Council Hall.
Hey, you're that guy, right? The soldier that kid died. 17th Division. That was the front line. They were smack in the middle of the whole island. No one could have survived that meteor crash. But here you are, without a scratch. Beg your pardon, Lieutenant. It's pretty strange. If you were able to save one's farm from the center of impact, even those seriously. It's hard to believe that anyone could have survived that fire. Really don't. The council won't like that attitude. Come on, tell us. How'd you make it?
Evil glare. Hey, look, I was just asking, okay? I'm angry at having lost so many of my comrades too. There's no need for that kind of attitude. You've heard about the meteor that fell in the Highlands of Wool, right? Everyone died, it seems. It's terrible. They say the people from both sides were wiped out together on the Highlands of Wool. What the hell happened out there? Magic Industrial Revolution is the real problem. It brought us more wars, more problems with monster attacks, even more troubles with magic energy. I don't want any trouble from you until we reach the council hall. They'd have my head over it. There's mass panic at the capital in fear that we'll be the target of the next meteor. Some people have already started to flee. or I will be fine. This is exactly why we had the Magic Industrial Revolution, to protect us from things like this. The story about the meteors already spread through the capital. Could this also be the work of magic energy? People everywhere are frightened. And the epic music begins. Such a good soundtrack for this game. Lost Odyssey.
makes you think that the Goats were involved?
We have confirmed that a large amount of military hardware has been moved from Gotza to Kent. We assume Gotza plans to use Kent to keep things stirred up and destabilize Ura.
Are you saying that even the meteor crash was a Goatsan plot?
My lord, I have some disturbing information on that subject. We suspect that a situation at Grandstaff may have caused the meteor crash. Grandstaff? This is not the first time the stories about them reached my ears. This is not confirmed, but magic energy may have leaked out of Grandstaff, interfered with something in outer space, and precipitated this Gongora. Yes, my lord. The Grand Staff falls under your jurisdiction. Do you have anything to say?
Nothing for the moment. Where did you get this information? Construction of Grand Staff is going smoothly.
Now that the forces of Ura have suffered such devastating losses, I think we have no other way to protect our land except with the magic energy that Grandstaff will provide. We should hold off on debating the pros and cons of Grandstaff until we thoroughly review the world's current situation.
What you say makes sense, but our plan to use magic energy is a double-edged sword. With all sorts of rumors flying around, we might want to halt construction of Grand Staff.
What?
Only temporarily. As soon as it's clear that Grand Staff had nothing to do with the meteor collision, we'll resume construction immediately, Gongora.
Oh, it's crazy stuff hanging from their clothes. Thank you for riding the monorail today. We hope to see you again. Hey, did you hear? Everyone that went to the Highlands Wall was annihilated. I was there, bro. Great ring. It's a key item. If you have a question, go ask the station crew. I'm just here on patrol. You can see the council hall out over there across the monorail. It's the nerve center of Ura's government. Monorail is not in operation at this time. There's a trash can somewhere here that I can kick. Oh, there it is. Please get on the lift. We must hurry to the City Council Hall. Down the lift, Lieutenant Argonar. The council's waiting for you. I don't want to think. Supposed to be a lost and found somewhere. But I don't see it. Maybe it's in the next area. Ah, yes. Going down. I don't have time to waste here. Once we're out of the station, please follow me straight to the council. We must get moving, Lieutenant Argonar. It's quite a long way to the council hall. I don't know who it is, but someone keeps throwing trash in the vase. It'd be nice if there was someone else who could pick it up too. Meteor fell on the Highlands Wall. A meteor? How insane is that? What happens if one falls here? Can't believe how laid back civilians are. We're at war here. If you want to ride the monorail, go up to the second floor. Assuming the monorail's even working. That is. Get a little poster. Trash can. And then, welcome. This is where you go if you need directions or have any questions about how to use the monorail system. We also handle PA system announcements, monorail status reports, and lost and found services here. Let me know if you need anything. I found this lost item. Ah, believe we just had someone inquire about this earlier. This ring was a gift from the owner's fiance. He was a young soldier, and he was quite distraught. I'm sure this will make him very happy. He was asked to present a certain item to whoever brought the ring here. So please take this. Cure. I believe that cures status effects. So look about here. We're at war, so I understand why soldiers here are so tense, but I'm starting to dislike the atmosphere of this station now. Ever since the magical industrial revolution, Ura has undergone tremendous growth. Magic sure is a force to be reckoned with. Hey, a guy in his dock. Of course, people are benefiting from the magical industrial revolution, though there are still some who fear this power that they don't understand. Aww, dog makes a sound. I can't pet the dog, but he makes a sound. No more wasting time. Get moving. You don't need anything in the station, do you? Then hurry up. They're going to keep going, and I'm going to continue treasure hunting. Battle at the Highlands of Wool took a nasty turn. All the soldiers in the city are on edge and stern-looking. Kick the pipe. All the soldiers have been acting hostily. They could at least loosen up a little while they're shopping. Kick another pipe. Monorail's free because it's wartime, but those guards on watch freak me out a little. This is a boarding area for magic taxis. Fortunately, it's out of service at the time due to orders from above. I had to walk everywhere when I was young. What happened to the youth of today if magic was taken away, eh? It's hard for regular folks to take the monorail nowadays. Most people just take magic taxis. Get an angel's plume. I think we got 2 more items to get here. This war has cut drastically into our clientele. Hopefully we'll have old bustling city back before long. Hey there, what do you think? Isn't she a beauty? A real car, running on a real magic engine. Got a seed. The war will undoubtedly end after such a horrible tragedy. The council is apparently convened for emergency talks. I was just at the station, but the monorail and taxis are all stopped. How am I supposed to get to the Great Gate? Wind, seal, leaf. I think. Oops. So I already have a bruiser ring. Okay, it just shows those for new ones that I've acquired. Let's get on Main Street. The council hall is getting close. It's only a short walk to the council hall. Once we get to Main Street, let's move. They're done with me messing around. I have to go talk to the council.
Well done. You may leave. Lieutenant Kaya Margaret, we thank you for a job well done. I am Roxy, chairman of the Central Council of Ura. Well, Lieutenant, it seems people are calling you the Immortal. We've heard there were almost no survivors from Ura or Kent after the meteor crashed on the highways.
I just did.
My lord, please allow me to explain. Fine. Speak.
Thank you, my lord. Actually, this man is immortal thanks to my magic energy. He is under a spell of immortality that I conjured.
I wish to know more. This immortality spell. How does it work?
I don't know.
What? Are you saying that you don't know about the spell cast on you?
I don't remember. I recall nothing. My lord, this man has lost his memory. However, he is skilled in magic energy. So I have been studying his abilities.
Then what can you tell us, Dongora?
With all due respect, my lord, this spell is a curse. It is said that merely hearing it brings death near. For the safety of everyone, it is better that the spell be kept secret.
Very well. Since I trust your studied opinion, I shall take your word that we should not know the spell. Death is determined by fate, and one cannot fight it.
Can you hear me, or you're not using your microphone? I think I'm using my microphone. I'm pretty sure I am. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got my camera turned off. I can turn it back on. Just sitting back, enjoying the game. It's a very, very good game. This is probably my fourth time playing through it. So,
Lieutenant, since it seems that you cannot be killed, the Council would like to bestow a special mission on you. We want you to go to Grandstaff.
My lord,
Dongora, you cannot keep this hidden any longer. Till now, construction has been left up to you, but we've lost contact with the site.
it's just that.
Dongora! Until we can confirm the Grandstaff project is safe, construction shall be suspended.
Yes, my lord.
So now, Lieutenant Arthur, you know of Grandstaff, under construction in the Sea of Bars?
I've heard that it's a magic staff.
Yes, it is. As you just heard, all communications with the site have been cut off for some time now. Considering the danger from magic energy leaks, we suspect that no one can investigate the possible cause, except someone immortal.
Well, there is someone else.
What did you say?
At the Wall Highlands, another immortal. Her name is Balmor.
This other one shall accompany you. I shall summon her. Quickly, make the arrangements.
Right away, my lord. My lord, pardon me for saying this. They are building Grandstaff for the sake of our nation and its people.
Enough. We will await Kyle's return and report.
Of course, my lord.
You are dismissed, Lieutenant.
thank you for coming, Lieutenant Argonar. I've word from Chairman Roxanne that you are off duty until further official orders from the Council. There's a fine inn just along the street for you to stay and wait for your orders. I've already arranged for the Council to contact you there. Oh, the game audio is really low. check. Yeah, I was trying to keep it to where it didn't overpower if I was talking or something. I'll put it at 80% instead of 60%. Yeah, I have to keep a couple of my window blinds partially open so that my cat can get in them and look out the window. Because if she doesn't get access to them, then there's lots of destruction that happens. Street is closed. Use the street over there. Council Chairman Roxanne's one sharp man. He's been holding the reins ever since Ura became a republic 12 years ago. It's been a while since we changed from monarchy to republic. I think it made a big difference. Things are easier now. Go with the middle mini map. I have played Chrono Cross, and one of my friends, AG Deeds, she has been streaming it a bunch as part of our RPG book club. I really like it. It's a good bit different from this though, because it's a bit shorter. The battle system's a lot different, and it focuses on a really large cast of characters, where this one has a pretty small cast of characters in comparison. Definitely worth playing. Highland's Pole wiped out by a meteor. Was it magic energy? Of course it was. Hey, can I tell you a secret? There wasn't any magic when my grandpa was a kid. Peel off a poster. Magic Industrial Evolution has made life easier, sure, but it's also had a massive effect on nature. Magic Industrial Revolution really is something. We lived completely different lives before it came along. Kick the butt. I'm searching for my husband. He belongs to the 98th Armored Magic Troopers Division. I heard his unit was sent into battle with Kent. I'm still hopeful, but... Councilman Gongor is the greatest wizard in all of Ura. They say his political enemies fear to move against him because of the power he wields. Lord Gongora, a member of the council, is also an expert in magical energy. No one can match him on the subject or in its use. I don't think any of these are interactable. Oh, another poster over here. Everyone was scared of using magic power in the beginning. Look at all the things it's done, turning wild animals into monsters, the least of it. Magic energy is frightening stuff, but it's also very powerful. The movement responsible for the research into applied magic is what created the magic industrial revolution. The Sea of Baus has always been dangerous, but now it's infested with monsters thanks to the increase in magic energy. They say magic energy brought about the tragedy on the Highlands. That really worries me. Get this poster. Open a pot. Can't bet the dog. Magic has drastically altered the ecosystem. Docile beasts turn into raging monsters practically overnight. Weak magic has existed naturally for a long time, but it's only been 30 years since strong magic energy appeared. Those counts types only say things that make them look good. Listen to the talk in a few of the bars, and you'll quickly find out the truth behind the scenes. Okay. Okay, Tavern actually has a lot of stuff in it, so I'm going to wait a second. I'm going to finish exploring about here a little bit, and then I'll go in there, because there's going to be some dreams in there. Big in Castlevania. Bloodlines, Rondo of Blood. Yeah, I am bad at action games in general. I got through Symphony of the Night. I did not do Upside Down Castle. I really liked Lament of Innocence on the PS2 because it was a lot easier. It was one of their earlier 3D ones. But yeah, typically action games I'm more fond of watching than playing because if they don't have an easy setting. Things were good when old Ziffa was king. There's been something wrong with this country since it became a republic. Oh my, you look worn out. There's an inn just over there. Go get yourself some rest in a proper bed. Husband of the young woman next door hasn't come back from the battlefield. What a shame. They were such a lovely couple. King Zifa ruled Ura until 12 years ago. After the queen's death, he just couldn't bring himself to care about politics any longer. King Zifa was loved and respected by the people even after the monarchy came to an end. But dying in such a fashion, that's bound to create some nasty rumors. The war is finally over, but at such a cost to our fellow countrymen. Magic energy is so useful. I don't know how we could ever do without them. They were incredibly rare just 30 years ago. Magic energy has made life easier. Everything you see here is thanks to the blessings of the Magic Industrial Revolution. It's often said that magic power has made life easier for everyone. I'd like to know what caused power to suddenly appear. Did I talk to you? I don't think I did. Yep, I already talked to her. You were at the Highlands of Wool, weren't you? My son was in the battle too. Do you know him? Is he still alive? There's a park a bit down the road. You run to Gongora's mansion. Keep going after that. Let's see. Heading to Central Station, make a turn at the T intersection over there. Okay, so that's back over to where we were before. Right? Yep. Is the inn? Arx's arms and armor. The owner of the store often goes traveling to find quality items. I appreciate his enthusiasm. We can't shop while he's away. That upsets me.
And now, counselors, I propose that Pandora be removed from Grand Staff Project, with control transferred to this council.
My lord,
In addition, until Lieutenant Arthur completes his investigation, I propose that Pandora be confined to its residence under surveillance. Those who disagree with my proposal, raise your hands now.
It appears I have no choice but to agree.
I see there are no objections. It is decided.
Is the volume fine now? For everything? Expected no less from the capital of Ura. Everything's so big. Check out all the magical engines. I haven't been back to this city for many years. The magic engines are all new. These stone buildings and roads haven't changed at all. What are you doing at the back door here? You don't belong here. Get out. Oh, it's locked. Been at Ura for a long time. It's my first time. I'm looking for a job to make something out of my life. Guest book. To our dear guests, do you have any questions, comments, or suggestions? Kindly write them down here. We came here for our honeymoon. We'll never forget this experience of a lifetime. We'll treasure it forever. Thank you. It rained the whole time. How could I have any fun? It's like bad weather just follows me around. The soldiers were loud. Everything was so expensive. I just want to go home. At least the girl was really cute, and her food was good. This is my first time in the city. It's been an interesting and meaningful trip. I'd like to visit again. I came here to send my son off to the army. He's such a kind-hearted boy. Worried he won't fit in with those military types. I just pray he'll be back safe. I rode on the monorail. I saw the castle. I played with the dog. I'm going to go to my grandma's house tomorrow. I can't wait. Ura street map. Great Gate, downtown Ura, the palace, transportation in Ura. Great gate. This magnificent structure serves as the entrance to the city of Ura as well as providing protection from enemies. The monorail station has now become an essential part of Ura's transportation and is one of the blessings of this magical industrial revolution. Downtown, the beautiful sights of Main Street are the most memorable part of Ura. Charmingly authentic Flagstone Boulevard melds seamlessly with the wonders of modern magic engine technology to create a wonderful blend of old and new Ura in one unique view. Even under Ura's modern Republican government, the palace's majestic exterior continues to loom over Ura. Rebuilt as part of the Magic Industrial Revolution, this symbolic structure continues to serve as one of the city's most recognizable buildings. The monorail system is inexpensive and runs frequently, so it's your best choice for visiting downtown or the palace area. Those who prefer a more personal touch, magic taxis offer a high level of privacy. Some merchants even conduct their most important meetings inside. Welcome. The council's told me about you. Please enjoy your stay.
As time slips into deep sleep, his dream unfolds. A dream on his past. And this moment, there is no way he could know.
Alright, and here we get one of the first of the 1,000 Years of Dreams, which are all sets of short stories that about Kime recalling something about his last 1,000 years of life. And they're all good. Some are emotional, some are dark, but they are fantastic. Dream has been revealed. Family members have tears in their eyes when they welcome Kime back to the inn from his long journey. Thank you so much for coming. He understands the situation immediately. Time for departure is drawing near. Hannah's departure. Too soon, too soon. But still he knows this day would have to come sometime, not in the distant future. I might never see you again, she said to him with a sad smile when he left on this journey, her smiling face almost transparent in its whiteness, so fragile, and therefore indescribably beautiful as she lay in bed. May I see Hannah now? He asks. The innkeeper gives him a tiny nod and says, I don't think she'll know who you are, though. She hasn't opened her eyes since last night, he warns Kime. You can tell from the slight movement of her chest that she's clinging to a frail thread of life, but it could snap at any moment. It's such a shame. I know you made a special point to come here for her. Another tear glides down the wife's cheek. And they also do text effects to convey more emotion. You saw in the previous one that it popped in the quoted text for a thing, and this one the tear dripped down like a tear falling. There are many of those effects. Never mind, it's fine, Kime says. He has been present in innumerable deaths, and his experience taught him so much. Death takes away the power of speech, first of all. The ability to see. What remains alive to the very end, however, is the power to hear. Even though a person has lost consciousness, it is by no means unusual for the voice of the family to bring forth smiles or tears. He puts his arm around the woman's shoulder and says, I have lots of travel stories to tell her. I've been looking forward to this my whole time on the road. Instead of smiling, the woman releases another large tear and nods to Kime. And Hannah was so looking forward to hearing your stories. Her sobs almost drown out her words. The innkeeper says, I wish I could urge you to rest up from your travels before you see her, but Kime interrupts his apologies. Of course, I'll see her right away. There's very little time left. Hannah, the only daughter of the innkeeper and his wife, will probably breathe her last breath before the sun comes up. Kime lowers his pack to the floor and quietly opens the door to Hannah's room. Hannah was frail from birth. Far from enjoying the opportunity to travel, she rarely left the town or even the neighborhood in which she was born and raised. This child will probably not live to adulthood, the doctor told her parents. To this tiny girl with extraordinary beautiful doll-like features, the gods had dealt an all too sad destiny. That they had allowed her to be born, the only daughter of the keepers of a small inn by the highway, was perhaps one small act of atonement for such iniquity. Hannah was unable to go anywhere, but the guests who stayed at her parents' inn would tell her stories of the countries and towns and landscapes and people that she would never know. Whenever new guests arrived at the inn, Hannah would ask them, Where are you from? Where are you going? Can you tell me a story? She would sit and listen to their stories with sparkling eyes, urging them on new episodes with, and then? And then? When they left the inn, she would beg them, Please come back and tell me lots of stories about faraway countries. She would stand there waving until the person disappeared far down the highway, give one lonely sigh, and go back to bed. Hannah is sound asleep. No one else is in the room, perhaps an indication that she has long since passed the stage when doctors can do anything for her. Kime sits down in the chair next to the bed and says with a smile, Hello, Hannah. I'm back. She does not respond. Her little chest, still without the swelling of a grown woman, rises and falls almost imperceptibly. I went far across the ocean this time, he tells her. The ocean on the side where the sun comes up. I took a boat from the harbor way, way, way far beyond the mountains you can see from the window. And I was on the sea from the time the moon was perfectly round till it got smaller and smaller, and then bigger and bigger until it was full again. There was nothing but ocean as far as the eye could see, just the sea and the sky. Can you imagine it, Hannah? You've never seen the ocean, but I'm sure people have told you about it. It's like a huge, big, endless puddle. Kime chuckles to himself, and it seems to him that Hannah's pale white cheek moves slightly. She can hear him, even if she cannot speak or see. Her ears are still alive. Believing and hoping this to be true, Kime continues with the story of his travels. He speaks no words of parting. As always with Hannah, Kime smiles with special gentleness he has never shown to anyone else, and he goes on telling his tales with a bright voice, sometimes even accompanying the story with exaggerated gestures. He tells her about the blue ocean, about the blue sky. He says nothing about the violent sea battle that stained the ocean red. He never tells her about those things. Hannah was still a tiny girl when Kime first visited the inn. When she asked him, Where are you from? And, Will you tell me some stories? With her childish pronunciation and innocent smile, Kym felt a soft glow in his chest. At the time, he was returning from a battle. More precisely, he had ended one battle and was on his way to the next. His life consisted of traveling from one battlefield to another, and nothing about this has changed to this day. He has taken the lives of countless enemy soldiers and witnessed the death of countless comrades on the battlefield. Moreover, the only thing separating enemies from comrades is the slightest stroke of fortune. Had the gears of destiny turned in a slightly different way, his enemies would have been comrades and his comrades' enemies. This is the fate of a mercenary. He was spiritually worn down back then and feeling unbearably lonely. As a possessor of eternal life, Kym had no fear of death, which is precisely why each of the soldiers' faces distorted in fear, and why the face of each man who died in agony was permanently in his brain, burned. Ordinarily, he would spend nights on the road drinking, immersing himself in alcoholic stupor, or pretending to. He was trying to make himself forget the unforgettable. When, however, he saw Hannah's smile, she begged him for stories about his long journey, he felt far warmer and deeper comfort than he could ever obtain from liquor. He told her many things. About a beautiful flower he discovered on the battlefield. About the bewitching beauty of the mist filling the forest the night before the final battle. About the marvelous taste of spring water in the ravine where he and his men had fled after a losing battle. About a vast, bottomless blue sky he saw after battle. He never told her anything sad. He kept his mouth shut about the human ugliness and stupidity he witnessed endlessly on the battlefield. He concealed his position as a mercenary from her, kept silent regarding his reasons for traveling constantly, and spoke only of things that were beautiful and sweet and lovely. He sees now that he told Hannah only beautiful stories of the road like this, not so much out of concern for her purity, but for his own sake. Staying in the inn where Hannah waited to see him turned out to be one of Kym's small pleasures in life. Telling her about memories he brought back from his journeys, he felt some degree of salvation, however slight. 5 years, 10 years, his friendship with the girl continued. Little by little she neared adulthood, which meant that, as the doctors had predicted, each day brought her that much closer to death. And now, Kym ends the last travel story he will share with her. He can never see her again, can never tell her his stories again. Before dawn, when the darkness of night is its deepest, long pauses enter into Hannah's breathing. The frail thread of her life is about to snap as Kym and her parents watch over her. The tiny light that has lodged in Kym's breast will be extinguished. His lonely travels will begin again tomorrow. His long, long travels without end. You'll be leaving on travels of your own soon, Hannah, Kym tells her gently. You'll be leaving a world that no one knows. Leaving for a world that no one knows, a world that has never entered into any of the stories that you have heard so far. Finally, you'll be able to leave your bed and walk anywhere you want to go. You'll be free. He wants to know that death is not sorrow, but joy mixed with tears. It's your turn now. Be sure and tell everyone about the memories of your journey. Her parents will make the same journey someday, and someday Hannah will be able to meet all the guests she has known at the inn, far beyond the sky. I, however, can never go there. I can never escape this world. I can never see you again. This is not goodbye. It's just the start of your journey. He speaks his final words to her. We'll meet again. His final lie to her. Hannah makes her departure. Her face is transfused with a tranquil smile, as if she had just said, "See you soon." Her eyes will never open again. A single tear glides slowly down her cheek. The end. It's got memories of the past. You can view them again at the inn or from the main menu. You can pause it by pressing start button, cancel by pressing the back button. Alright, good to know. Did you sleep well? No messages for you yet, I'm afraid. We'll hold any messages that come for you here, so please don't hesitate to take a stroll outside. I'm sure you'd like to forget the horrors of the battlefield. Oh, by the way, feel free to use any of the items you find here. They're compliments of the house. I already ransacked the place. Alright. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break and get some water. And then I will be back. Because there are like 3 more of these memories in quick succession. Okay. Back to the game. That's cool. The poster that I picked up earlier stays picked in the cutscene. Alright. Tavern has a few items. A couple upstairs. Can I take your order? Or perhaps I can convince you to treat me to something. Ooh. Council's telling us we've won the war. Can it really be called a victory at the cost of so many lives? Like you've been slapped in the face. Man's much more desirable when he's confident and in control, you know. My son-in-law went to the Highlands of Wool. We still don't know what's happened to him. My grandchildren are all so little. Hold on, you're fresh from the battlefield too, aren't you? Yes, we both saw someone upstairs big time, don't we? Kind of feel like a heel, thinking about all my dead buddies. And having another chance to see your family, well, that's a great feeling. I didn't think I'd actually make it out of this alive after all. I have no idea what I'm going to do when it's time to knock on my family's front door. Another memory. Another dream. Alone in the crowd of rugged men, nursing his drink in the far corner of old post town's only tavern, Kime. A single man strides through the tavern door, massively built. He wears the garb of a warrior. His soiled uniform bespeaks a long journey. Fatigue marks his face, but his eyes wear a penetrating gleam, the look of a fighting man on active duty. A hero's return. The tavern's din hushes instantly. Every drunken eye in the place fastens on the soldier with awe and gratitude. The long war with the neighboring country has ended at last, and the men who fought on the front lines have returned to their homes. So is it with this military man. The soldier takes a seat at the table next to Kimes and downs his slug of liquor with the forcefulness of a hard drinker, a man who drinks to kill his pain. 2 cups, 3, 4. Another customer approaches him, bottle in hand, wearing an ingratiating grin, a typical crafty town punk. Let me offer you a drink, wheedles the man, as a token of our gratitude for your heroic efforts on behalf of the fatherland. The soldier unsmilingly allows the man to fill his cup. How was it at the front? I'm sure you performed many valiant deeds on this battlefield. The soldier empties his cup in silence. The punk refills the cup and adopts an ever more fawning smile. Now that we're friends, how about telling me some war tales? You sure got big, strong arms. How many soldiers did you kill? Without a word, the soldier hurls the contents of his cup at the man's face. The punk flies into a rage and draws his knife. No sooner does it leave his sheath than Kime's fist sends it flying through the air. Faced with the powerful united front of Kime and the soldier, the punk runs out muttering curses. The 2 big men watch him go. They share a faint smile. Kime doesn't have to speak with the soldier to know that he lives in deep sadness. For his part, the soldier, having cheated death any number of times, is aware of the shadow that lurks in Kime's expression. The tavern's din returns. Kime and the soldier pour each other drinks. I've got a wife and daughter. I haven't seen since I shipped out, says the soldier. It's been 3 long years. He lets himself smile shyly now for the first time as he takes a photograph of his wife and daughter from his pocket and shows it to Kime. The wife a woman of dewy freshness. The daughter still very young. They're the reason I survived. The thought of going home to them alive was all that sustained me in battle. Is your home far from here? No, my village is just over the next pass. I'm sure they've heard the news that the war is over and can hardly wait to have me home. I could get there tonight if I wanted to badly enough. It was that close. Or he could get there. But the soldier downs another mouthful of liquor and groans. I'm afraid. Afraid of what? I want to see my wife and daughter, but I'm afraid to have them see me. I don't know how many men I've killed these past 3 years. I had no choice. I had to do it to stay alive. If I was going to get back to my family, I had no choice but to kill one enemy soldier after another. And each and every one of those men had families they had left at home. It was the code of war, the soldier's destiny. To stay alive in battle, you had to go on killing men before they could kill you. I had no time to think about such things at the front. I was too busy trying to survive. I see it now, though, now that the war is over. 3 years of sin are carved in my face. This is the face of a killer. I don't want to show this face to my wife and daughter. The soldier pulls out a leather pouch from which he withdraws a small stone. He tells Kime it is an unpolished gemstone, something he found shortly after he left for the battlefield. A gemstone? Kime asks, unconvinced. The stone on table is a dull black without a hint of a gleam that a gem should have. It sparkled when I first found it. I was sure my daughter would love it when I brought it home to her. Gradually, though, the stone lost its gleam and turned cloudy. Every time I killed an enemy soldier, something like the stain of his blood would rise to the surface of the stone. As you can see, it's almost solid black now after 3 years. The stone is stained by the sins I've committed. I call it my sin stone. You don't have to blame yourself so harshly, says Kime. You had to do it to stay alive. I know that, says the soldier. I know that, but still, just like me, the men I killed had villages and homes to go to, and families waiting for them there. The soldier then says to Kime, You too, I suppose. You must have a family. Kime gives his head a shake. Not me, he says, no family. A home village at least? I don't have a place to go home to. Eternal traveler, eh? That's me. The soldier chuckles softly and gives Kime a sour smile. It's hard to tell how fully he believes what Kime has told him. He slips the sin stone into his leather pouch and says, You know what I think? If the stone turned darker every time I took a life, it ought to get some of its gleam back every time I save a life. Instead of answering, Kime drains the last drops of liquor from his cup and rises from the table. The soldier remains in his chair, and Kime, staring down at him, offers him these words of advice. If you have a place you can go home to, you should go to it. Just go, no matter how much guilt you have weighing you down. I'm sure your wife and daughter will understand. You're no criminal. You're a hero. You fought your heart out to stay alive. I'm glad I met you, says the soldier. I needed to hear that. He holds his right hand out to Kime, who grasps in return. I hope your travels go well, says the soldier. And your travels will soon be over, says Kime with a smile, starting at the door. Just then the punk charges at Kime from behind, wielding a pistol. Watch out, bellows the soldier, and rushes after Kime. As Kime whirls around, the punk takes aim and shoots. You can't treat me like that, you son of a bitch. The soldier flies between the two men and takes the bullet in his gut. And so, as he so desperately wished to do, the soldier had saved someone's life. Ironically, it is for the life of Kime, a man who can neither age nor die, that the soldier has traded his one and only life. Sprawled on the floor, nearly unconscious, the soldier thrusts the leather pouch into Kime's hand. Look at my sin stone, will you? Maybe, he says, chuckling weakly. Some of its shine has come back. Blood spurts from his mouth, strangling the laugh. Kime looks inside the bag and says, It's sparkling now. It's clean. It is, gasps the soldier. Good. My daughter will be so glad. He smiles with satisfaction and holds his hand out for the pouch. Gently, Kime lays the pouch in the palm of his hand and folds the man's fingers over it. The soldier draws his last breath and the pouch falls to the floor. The dead man's face wears a peaceful expression. The stone, however, the man's sin stone, which is rolled from the open pouch, is as black as ever. End. See, these stories don't pull punches. They're about death and suffering and just so much other stuff. Just between me and you, I think Agora is the one who killed King Ziffa. Magic Industrial Revolution's proof. There have always been rumors that King Zifa was assassinated. If that's true, then my money's on Chairman Roxian. Kent attack has been repelled, but our forces have been devastated. What's going to happen to us? I didn't even talk to the guy at the counter. The war's over, but the hard time continues. Bah, how about a drink to help you forget for a while? I'm going to get the other two treasures up here. And then I've actually got to leave the inn to trigger, or leave the tavern to trigger the other dreams. So you're the immortal who survived the whole Highlands of Wool incident. Are you even human? Those beastly Kent must have attacked Ura to take over our magic industries. Apparently Goats in the north is pulling the strings behind the Kent attack. I guess eventually they'll attack Ura directly. I used to work as a jail warden. It was so strange to see the prisoners start riots over and over again. All it did was extend their sentences, you know? I have no idea why they kept acting that way, really. Another dream has been revealed. Captive. In the mind of a captive. He knows that it is useless, but he can't suppress the impulse that wells up from within his own flesh. He needs to do it, to hurl his entire body against the bars. It does no good at all. His flesh simply bounces off the thick iron bars. "Number 8, what the hell are you doing?" The guard's angry shout echoes down the corridor. Prisoners are never called by name, only by the numbers on their cells. Kime is number 8. Kime says nothing. Instead, he slams his shoulders against the bars. The massive bars of irons never budge. All they do is leave a dull, heavy ache in Kime's superbly conditioned muscles and bones. Now, instead of shouting again, the guard blows the whistle, and the other guards come running from their station. "Number 8, what's it going to take to make you understand? Do you want to be thrown into the punishment cell? Don't look at me like that. Start resisting it, and all it will get you is a longer time in here." Sitting on the floor of his cell, legs splayed out, Kime ignores the guard's shouts. He has been to the punishment room any number of times. He knows he has been branded a highly rebellious prisoner, but he can't help himself. Something is squirming deep down inside him. Some hot thing trapped inside there is seething and writhing. "Some war hero you turned out to be," says one guard. "You can't do shit in here. What's the matter, soldier boy? Can't do anything without an enemy staring you in the face?" The guard next to him taunts Kime with laughter. "Too bad for you, buddy. No enemies in here. Nobody from your side either. We've got you locked up all by yourself." After the guards leave, Kime curls up on the floor, hugging his knees, eyes clamped tight. All by myself. The guard was right. I thought I was used to living alone in battle, on the road, but the loneliness here in prison is deeper than I've ever experienced before, and more frightening. Walls on 3 sides, and beyond the bars nothing but another wall enclosing a narrow corridor. This dungeon was built so as to prevent prisoners from seeing each other or even sense each other's presence. The total lack of a change in the view paralyzes the sense of time as well. Kime has no idea how many days have passed since he was thrown in here. Time flows on, that much is certain. But with nowhere to go, it simply stagnates inside him. The true torture that prison inflicts on a man is neither to rob him of his freedom, nor to force him to experience loneliness. The real punishment is having to live where nothing ever moves in your field of view and time never flows. The water in a river will never putrefy, but lock it in a jar and that is exactly what it will eventually do. The same is true here. Maybe parts of him deep down in his body and mind are already beginning to give off a rotten stench. Because he is aware of this, Kym drags himself up from the floor and slams himself into the bars over and over. There's not the remotest chance that doing so will break a bar, nor does he think he can manage to escape this way. Still, he does it repeatedly. He can't help himself. He has to do it again and again. In the instant before his body smashes into the bars, for that split second, a puff of wind strikes his cheek. The unmoving air moves, if only for a brief interval. The touch of that air is the one thing that gives Kym a fragmentary hint of the flow of time. Hello, honey lamb. The guards come running, faces grim with anger. Now I can see human shapes where before there was only a wall. That alone is enough to lift my spirits. Don't these guards realize that? All right, number 8, it's punishment room for you. Let's see if 3 days in there will cool your head. Kym's lips relax into a smile when he hears the order. Don't these guys get it? Now my scenery will change. Time will start flowing again. I'm thankful for that. Kym laughs aloud. The guards tie his hands behind him, put chains on his ankles, and start for the punishment room. What the hell are you laughing at, number 8? Yeah, stop it. We'll punish you even more. But Kym just keeps on laughing at the top of his lungs. If I fill my lungs with all new air, will the stench disappear? Or if my body and mind rotted so much already that I can't get rid of the stench so easily? How long will they keep me locked up in here? When can I get out of here? Will it be too late by then? When everything has rotted away, will I become less a him than an it? The way our troops count enemy corpses? Kym can hardly breathe. It's as if air was being squeezed out of his chest, and the excruciating pain of it is drawing him back from the world of dream to reality. Was I once in a prison in the far, far distant past? He half wonders in the space between dream and reality. He has had this dream any number of times, this nightmare, it might even be called. After waking, he tries to recall it, but nothing stays in his memory. One thing is certain, however. The appearance of the jail and the guards in the dream is always the same. Could this be something I've actually experienced? If so, when could it have been? There's no way for him to tell. Once he's fully awake, those questions he asks between dream and reality are themselves erased from his memory. He springs up with a scream, his breath labored, the back of his hand wiping the streams of sweat from his brow, and all that's left is shuddering terror. It's always like this. Now, too, he mutters himself as he attempts to retrieve whatever memory is left in a remote corner of his brain. What kind of past could I have lived through? Now, too. What kind of past life could I have lived through? The end. All right. Now we'll get the 4th dream in Ura, and we'll see if it is just as dark as the others, or maybe a bit happier. Stupid damn magic engines. Think they could just up and take my damn job away from me? Come on, Dad. I gotta get you home already. Another memory locked deep within his heart. A mother comes home. The boy has lost his smile, though he denies it. Don't be silly, Kym. Look, I'm smiling, aren't I? He draws his cheeks back and lets his teeth show white against his brown skin. If this isn't a smile, what is? Kym nods but says nothing. He pats the boy on the shoulder as if to say, sure, sure. Come on, really look at me. I'm smiling, right? Right, you're smiling. Anyway, forget about me. Hurry, let's go. The boy has a sweet, open nature. He made instant friends with Kym while the other townspeople kept their distance from the strange traveler. Not that the boy chose the much older Kym as a playmate. He leads Kym to a tavern which still hasn't opened its doors for the day. I hate to ask you this, but would you please? The boy's voice seems to have carried inside. A man in the tavern peels off a drunken howl. He sounds especially bad today. Kym fights back a sigh and enters the tavern. The man on the bar stool is the boy's father, drunk again at midday. The boy is here to take him home. He looks at his father with sad eyes. Kym puts his arm around the father's shoulder and discreetly moves the whiskey bottle away from him. Let's call it a day, he says. The man shoves Kym's arm off and slumps down on the bar. I hate guys like you, he says. Yes, I know, says Kym. It's time to go home, though. You've had enough. You heard me, Kym. Drifter. I hate you guys. I really, really, really hate you guys. The father's always like this when he's drunk, hurling curses at all the drifters, picking fights with any man dressed for the road, and finally slumping to the ground to sleep it off. His son is too small to drag him home. With a sigh, Kym finds himself again today supporting the drunken father's weight to keep him from toppling off the bar stool. The boy stares at his father, his eyes a jumble of sadness, anger, and pity. When his eyes meet Kym's, he shrugs, as if to say, Sorry to keep putting you through this. But Kym's used to it. He's seen the father dead drunk almost every day for the past year, ever since the boy and his father were left to live alone. Oh well, the boy says with a strained smile as if trying to resign himself to the situation. Poor Papa. Poor me. Supporting the father's weight on his shoulder, Kym gives the boy a smile and says, Yes, but you don't go out and get drunk the way he does. Ahem, the boy says, puffing his chest out. Sometimes kids are tougher than grown-ups. Kym broadens his smile to signal him, You're right. Of course I'm right, the boy all but says with a smile he gives back. It's the only kind of smile a 10-year-old has managed to produce in the past year. So bitter it would numb your tongue if you could taste it. Oh, it's the tragic music playing. The boy's mother, the father's wife, left home a year ago. She fell in love with a traveling salesman and abandoned the boy and his father. Mama was bored, the boy says matter-of-factly, looking back at his mother's infidelity. She got tired of doing the same thing every day. That's when she met him. At the tender age of 10, the boy has learned that there are certain stories that have to be told with a matter-of-fact tone. The father was born and raised in a small town and worked in the town office. He was not especially talented, but it was not a job that called for talent or quick wit. All he had to do was follow orders with diligence and submissiveness, and he did exactly that year after year without making waves. He called our life peaceful, but Mama didn't think so. She said it was just ordinary and no fun. She was attracted to the life of the crafty traveling salesman. It was risky and exciting, like walking on top of a prison wall. One misstep and you could end up inside. Papa told Mama that the man was deceiving her, that all he wanted was her money, but he couldn't get through to her. Mama couldn't even think about us back then. With utter detachment, as though holding it at arm's length, the boy reflects on the tragedy that struck his family. I've heard the saying, love is blind. It really is, he says with a shrug and a sardonic laugh, like a full-fledged adult. Kym says nothing. Children should act their age is another saying, but probably not one that could be spoken with a great deal of meaning to a boy who had lost his mother's love. And even if Kym presumed to admonish him, the boy would likely pass it off with a strained smile and say, Sometimes kids are tougher than grown-ups. The boy's father, however, shows his displeasure when his son uses grown-up expressions. The little twerp's lost all of his boyishness. He despises me now. He thinks I'm pitiful. Deep down he's laughing at me for letting my wife be taken away by another man. Damn him. It bothers him especially when he is drunk. His annoyance far outweighs his fatherly love for his son. Sometimes he even slaps the boy across the face, or tries to. When he's drunk, the boy can easily dodge his slaps, and he ends up sprawled on the floor. Even as he is drowning in a sea of liquor, he can sometimes turn unexpectedly serious and start asking questions. Say, Kaim, you've been traveling for a long time, right? Uh-huh. Do you enjoy it all that much? Going to strange towns, meeting strangers can't be all that. Is it so wonderful that you'd be willing to abandon the life you're living now for it? He asks the same thing over and over. Kaim's answer is always the same. Sometimes it's enjoyable, sometimes it's not. He doesn't know what else to say. You know, Kaim, I've never set foot outside this town. Same with my father, and my grandfather, and my great-grandfather, the one before him. We've always been born here and died here. My wife's family, too. They've had roots in this town for generations. So why did she do it? Why did she leave? Why did she need so badly? What did she need so badly that she needed to leave me and her own son? Kai merely smiles without answering. The answer to such a question cannot be conveyed in words. Try though he might to explain it, the reason certain people are drawn irresistibly to the road can never be understood by people who don't have that impulse. The father is simply one of those people who can never understand. Failing to elicit a reply from Kaim, the father sinks again into his sea of drunkenness. I'm scared, Kaim. My son might do it too. He might go away and leave me here someday. When I hear him talking like a grown-up, I get so scared I can't stand it. The boy's mother eventually comes back. The traveling salesman cheated her out of every last bit of her savings, and the moment she was no longer of any use to him, he left her. Physically and mentally broken, she has only one place to return to, the home she abandoned. First, she writes a letter from the neighboring town, and when her husband reads it again and again, through drink-clouded eyes, he laughs derisively. Serves her right, the miserable wench. He makes a show of tearing up the letter in pieces in front of Kaim, without showing it to his son. Kaim tells the boy everything and asks him, What do you want to do? Whatever you decide, I'll help make it happen. Whatever I decide? The boy asks in return with his usual detached smile. If you want to leave this town, I'll get you enough money to help you get by for a while. I can do that much. He's utterly serious. The father has no intention of forgiving his wife. He'll almost certainly turn her away if she shows up, and probably with a proud, vindictive smile on his face. Kaim knows, however, that if the mother loses her home and leaves the town once and for all, the father will go back to drinking every day, cursing his wife's infidelity, bemoaning his own fate, taking out his anger on strangers, and constantly revealing the worst side of himself to his son. Kaim's long life on the road has taught him this. Constant travel means meeting many different people, and the boy's father is undoubtedly one of the weakest men Kaim has ever met. You could join your mother and go to another town, or if you wanted to go somewhere by yourself, I could find you work. Either would be better, Kaim believes, than for the boy to continue living alone like this with his father. The boy, however, seemingly intrigued, looks at Kaim, revealing his white teeth. You've been traveling for a long time, haven't you, Kaim? Uh-huh. Always alone? Sometimes alone, sometimes not. Huh. The boy gives a little nod and with the sad smile of a grown-up says, You really don't get it, don't you? Do you? What's that? All this traveling and you still don't understand the most important thing. His sad smile takes on its usual bitter edge. Kaim finally learns what the boy is talking about 3 days later. A tired-looking woman in tattered clothes drags herself from the highway into the marketplace. The townsfolk back away from her, staring, leaving her in the center of the broad, empty circle. The boy's mother has come back. The boy breaks his way through the crowd and enters the circle. The mother sees her son, and her rather withered cheeks break into a smile. The boy takes one step and another step towards his emaciated, smiling mother. He's hesitant at first, but from the third step he's running, and he throws his arms around her. He's crying. He's smiling. For the first time that Kaim has seen, he wears an unclouded smile of a child. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. His mother begs in tears. She clasps his head to her bosom and says, smiling through the tears, You've gotten so big. And she adds, I won't leave you again. I'll stay here forever. A stir goes through the crowd. It comes from the direction of the tavern. Now the father breaks through the wall of people and enters the circle. He's drunk. Stumbling, he edges towards his wife and son. He glares at his wife. The boy stands between them, guarding his mother. "Papa, stop it!" he yells. "Mama is back. That's enough, isn't it? Forgive her. Papa, please." His voice is choked with tears. The father says nothing in reply. Glaring at the two of them, he collapses to his knees, his arms open wide. He enfolds both wife and son. The shattered family is one again. "Papa, please don't hold us so tight. It hurts." The boy is crying and smiling. The mother can only sob. The father weeps in his rage. Witnessing the scene from the back of the crowd, Kime turns on his heels. "Are you really leaving?" the boy asks again and again as he accompanies Kime through Edgetown. "Uh-huh. I want to get across the ocean before winter sets in." "Papa's already missing you. He says he thought you two could finally become drinking buddies from now on." "You can drink with him when you grow up." When I grow up, huh?" The boy cocks his head a little embarrassed and he mutters, "I wonder if I'll still be living in this town then." No one knows that, of course. Maybe some years from now, the father will spend his days drunk again because his son left his hometown and family. And yet Kime recalls something he forgot to say to the boy's weak father. "We call it a journey because we have a place to come home to, no matter how many detours or mistakes a person might make. As long as he has a place to come home to, a person can always start again." "I don't get it," says the boy. Kime remembers something else. "Smile for me," he says one last time, placing a hand on the boy's shoulder. "Like this?" He reveals his white teeth and his cheeks wrinkle up. It's a good smile. He's finally managed to retrieve the smile of a young boy. "Now your turn, Kime." Sure." The boy studies Kime's smile as if assigning it a grade. "Maybe a little sad," he says. That he is joking makes his words hit home all the more. The boy smiles again as if providing a model for Kime. "Okay then," he says with a wave of his hand. "I'm going shopping with Papa and Mama today." Kime smiles back and walks away. He then hears the boy calling his name one last time. "Even if we're saying goodbye, I'm not going to cry, Kime. Sometimes kids are tougher than grown-ups." Kime does not look back, his only reply a wave of the hand. The boy's expression would probably change if their eyes met. He decides to play it strong to the end. Kime walks on. After a brief respite, his journey with no place to go home starts again. A journey with no place to go home to. Poets call that wandering. The end. At least that one had a happy ending. It was still a dark story. You heard about this? A connection of mine in the council told me Councilman Gongora has been confirmed to his private estate. Could it be true? So the soldiers in front of his house aren't protecting him, but rather keeping him in there? The industrial area that sprawls below is the crown symbol of the magic industrial revolution. People who live here make the lavish style of Ura possible. Mom will be mad if I don't get home soon, but I want to play a little longer. No one else is here today. The park is ours. I was supposed to go shopping with Mom today, but she suddenly changed her mind. It was no fun to play with. I'll just have to wait for Dad to get home. Such a lively young boy. I can't keep up with him at my age. Sent this charm off with my son. It can only mean one thing. I knew it. I was kidding myself before, but really I knew it. This is my grandfather's nameplate, a souvenir from a war long ago that he miraculously survived. He told me that a fellow soldier saved his life in that war, but I suppose his nameplate wasn't enough to do the same for my son. Thank you for taking the trouble to bring this to me. There are so many families in this war with nothing to remember their departed by. May not be much, but I want you to have this. I hope you make it to retirement, soldier. One son died at the Highlands of Wool. I hope my son and nephew are okay. I haven't heard anything from them. Oh, we got another memory. I guess Ura has 5 of them. Oh, I missed the title of it. I looked away for a second. Lovely white flowers mark the town. They bloom on every street corner, not in beds or fields set aside for their cultivation, but blending naturally and in profusion with every row of houses, as though the buildings and blossoms have grown up together. The season is early spring, and snow still lingers on in the nearby mountains, but the stench of ocean that gently laps the town's southern shore is bathed in a refulgent sunlight. This is an old and prosperous harbor town. Even now, each day its piers can see many cruise ships and freighters come and go. Its history, however, is sharply divided between the time before and the time after an event that happened one day long ago. People here prefer not to talk about it, the watershed engraved upon the town's chronology. The memories are too sorrowful to make stories out of them. Kaim knows this because he knows it, and because he knows it, he has come here once again. Passing through, the tavern master asks him. With the sound of his voice, Kaim responds with a faint smile. You're here for the festival, I suppose. You should take your time and enjoy it. The man is in high spirits. He has joined the customers in glass after glass until now, and is quite red in the face, but no one shows any signs of blaming him for overindulging. Every seat in the tavern is filled, and the air reverberates with laughter. Happy voices can be heard now and then, as well as from the road outside. The entire town is celebrating. Once each year, the festival has people making merry all night until the sun comes up. I hope you've got room for the night, sir. Too late to find one now. Every inn is full to overflowing, so it seems. Not that anyone would be foolish enough to spend a night like this quietly tucked away under the covers in his room. The tavern master winks at Kaim as if to say, not you, sir, I'm sure. Tonight we're going to have the biggest, wildest party you've ever seen. And everyone's invited, locals or not. Drink, food, gambling, women, just let me know what you want. I'll make sure you have it. Kaim sips his drink and says nothing. Because he's planning to stay awake all night, he has not taken a room, though he has no plans to enjoy the festival either. Kime will be offering up a prayer at the hour before dawn when the night is at its darkest and deepest. He will leave the town, sent off by the morning sun as it pokes its face up between the mountains and the sea, just as he did at the time of his last visit. Back then, the tavern master, who a few minutes ago was telling one of his regular customers that his first grandchild was about to be born, was himself just an infant. "This one's on me. Drink up," says the tavern master, filling Kime's shot glass. He peers at Kime suspiciously and says, "You did come here for the festival, didn't you?" "No, not really," says Kime. "Don't mean to tell you you didn't know about it. You mean you came here by pure chance?" "Afraid so." "Well, if you came here on business, forget about it. Forget it. You'll never get serious talk out of anybody on a special night like this." The tavern master goes on to explain what's so special about this night. You must have heard something about it. Once, a long, long time ago, this town was also almost completely destroyed. There are two kinds of events that divide a history into a before and an after. One is the birth or death of some great personage, a hero or savior. The other is something like a war or plague or a natural disaster. What divided this town's history into before and after was a violent earthquake. It happened without warning and gave the soundly sleeping people of the town no chance to flee. A crack opened in the earth with a roar, and roads and buildings just fell to pieces. Fires started, and they spread in the twinkling of an eye. Almost everyone was killed. You probably can't imagine it. All I know is what they taught me in school. And what does Resurrection Festival mean to a kid? It's just something that happened once upon a time. I live here, and that's all it means to me. So a traveler like you probably can't even begin to imagine what it was like. Is that why they call this holiday Resurrection Festival? Uh-huh. The town was resurrected from total ruin to this. That's what this celebration's all about. Kime gives the man a grim smile and sips his liquor. "What's so funny?" the tavern master asks. "Last time I was here, they were calling it Earthquake Memorial Day. It wasn't a festival for this kind of wild celebrating." "What are you talking about? It's been a resurrection festival ever since I was a kid." "That was before you were old enough to remember anything." "Huh?" "Before that, they called it Consolation of the Spirits. They'd burn a candle for each person who died and pray for them to rest in peace. It was a sad festival, lots of crying." "You sound as if you saw it happening yourself." "I did." Tavern master laughs with a loud snort. "You look sober, but you must be plastered out of your mind. Now listen, it's a festival night, so I'm going to let you off the hook for pulling my leg. But don't say stuff like that in front of the other townspeople. All of our ancestors, mine included, are the ones who barely escaped with their lives." Kime knows full well what he's doing. He never expected the man to believe him. He just wanted to find out for himself whether the townspeople were still handing down the memories of the tragedy, whether deep down behind their laughing faces there still lingered the sorrow that had been passed down from their forefathers' time. Called away by one of his other customers, the tavern master leaves Kime's side, but not without first delivering warning. "Be careful what you say, sir. That kind of nonsense will get you into trouble. Really think about it. The earthquake happened all of 200 years ago. Kime does not answer him. Instead, he sips his liquor in silence. Among the ones who died in this tragedy 200 years ago were his wife and daughter. Of all the dozens of wives and hundreds of children that Kime had had in his eternal life, the wife and child he had here were especially unforgettable. In those days, Kime had a job in a harbor. There were just the three of them, he, his wife, and their little girl. They lived simply and happily. The same kind of days that had preceded today would continue on into endless tomorrows. Everyone in the town believed that, including Kime's wife and daughter, of course. But Kime knew differently, precisely because his own life was long without end, and he had consequently tasted the pain of countless partings. Kime knew all too well that in the daily life of humans there was no forever. This life his family was leading would have to end sometime. It could not go on unchanged. This was by no means a cause for sorrow, however. denied a grasp upon forever, human beings knew how to love and cherish the here and now. Thank you. Yeah, no, I think this is my fourth time playing through it, and I really enjoy it. And I'm the RPG book club that I'm streaming this with. We're all picking the games that we really enjoy to, kind of just play through and explain a lot of points and just show others that might not be able to play through it just what's so good about these games. Kym especially loved to show his daughter's flowers. The more fragile and short-lived, the better. Flowers that bloomed with the morning sun and scattered before the sun went down. They were everywhere in this harbor town, lovely white flowers that bloomed in early spring. His daughter loved the flowers. She was a gentle child who would never break off blossoms that had struggled so bravely to bloom. Instead, she simply watched them for hours at a time. That year, too. Look how big the buds are. They'll be blooming any time now, she said happily when she found the white flowers on the road near the house. Tomorrow, maybe? Kym wondered aloud. Absolutely, his wife chimed in merrily. Get up early tomorrow and have a look. Poor little flowers, though, said the daughter. It's nice when they bloom, but then they wither right away. All the better, said Kym's wife. It's good luck you get to see them blooming. This makes it more fun. But yeah, this game is fantastic. The soundtrack is even more fantastic. It may be fun for us, answered the girl. But think about the poor flowers. They work so hard to open up, and they wither the same day. It's sad. Well, yeah, I guess so. A momentary air of sadness flowed in the room, but Kym quickly dispelled it with a laugh. Happiness is not the same thing as longevity, he proclaimed. What does that mean, Papa? It may not bloom for long, but the flower is happy if it can open up the prettiest bloom and give off the sweetest perfume it knows how to make while it is blooming. The girl seemed to be having trouble grasping it and simply nodded with a little sigh. She then broke into a smile and said, It must be true if you say so, Papa. Your smile is more beautiful than any flower in full bloom. He should have said it to her. He regretted later that he had not. The words he had uttered so carelessly he came to realize turned out to be something of a prophecy. Well now, young lady, he said, if you're getting up early to see the flowers tomorrow morning, you better go to bed right now. All right, Papa, if I really have to. I'm going to bed now, too, said Kym's wife. Okay, then. Good night, Papa. His wife said to Kym, Good night, dear. I really am going to bed now. Good night, Kym replied, enjoying one last cup to ease the day's fatigue. These turned out to be the last words the family shared. A violent earthquake struck the town before dawn. Kym's house collapsed into a heap of rubble. His two loved ones departed for the distant otherworld before they could awaken from their deep sleep, and without ever having a chance to say good morning to him. The morning sun rose on a town that had been destroyed in an instant. Amid the rubble, the flowers were blooming, the white flowers that Kym's daughter had wanted so badly to see. He thought to lay a flower in offering on his daughter's cold corpse, but abandoned the idea. He couldn't bring himself to pick a flower. No one, no living being on the face of the earth, he realized had the right to snatch the life of a flower that possessed life for only one short day. Kym could never say to his daughter, You go first to heaven and wait for me, I'll be there before long. Nor would he ever know the joy or reunion with his loved ones. To live for 1,000 years meant bearing the pain of 1,000 years of partings. Kym continued his long journey. A dizzying number of years and months flowed by, years and months during which numberless wars and natural calamities scourged the earth. People were born and they died. They loved each other and were parted from the ones they loved. There were joys beyond measure and sorrows just as measureless. People fought and argued without end, but they also loved and forgave each other endlessly. Thus was history built up as the tears of the past evolved gradually into prayers for the future. Kym continued his long journey. After a while, he rarely thought about it, the wife and daughter with whom he had spent those few short days in the harbor town. But he never forgot them. He continued his long journey, and in the course of his travels, he stopped by the harbor town again. As the night deepened, the din of the crowds only increased, but now, as a hint of light comes in the eastern sky without a signal from anyone, the noise gives way to silence. Kime's been standing in the town's central square. The revelers, too, have found their way here one at a time until almost before he knows it, the stone-paved plaza is filled with people. He feels a tap on the shoulder. "Didn't expect to find you here," says the tavern master. Kime gives him a silent smile. The tavern master looks somewhat embarrassed and says, "There's something I forgot to tell you before." "Oh?" "Well, you know, the earthquake happened a long time ago, before my father and mother's time, even before my grandparents' generation. It may sound funny for me to say this, but I can't imagine this town in ruins." "I know what you mean. I do think, though, that there are probably things in this world that you can remember, even if you haven't actually experienced them. Like the earthquake. I haven't forgotten it, and I'm not the only one. It may have happened 200 years ago, but nobody in this town has ever forgotten it. We can't imagine it, but we can't forget it either." Just as Kime nods again to signal his understanding of the tavern keeper's words, a somber melody echoes throughout the square. This is the hour when the earthquake destroyed the town. All the people assembled here close their eyes, clasp their hands together, and offer up a prayer, the tavern master and Kime among them. To Kime's closed eyes come the smiling faces of his dead wife and daughter. Why are they so beautiful and so sad, these faces that believe with all their hearts that tomorrow is sure to come? The music ends. The morning sun climbs above the horizon, and everywhere throughout the town bloom countless white flowers. In 200 years, the white flowers have changed. Scientists hypothesize that the earthquake may have changed the nature of the soil itself, but no one knows the cause for sure. The lives of the flowers have lengthened. Where before they would bloom and wither in the space of a single day, now they hold their blooms for 3 or 4 days at a time. Moistened by the dew of night, bathed in the light of the sun, the white flowers strive to live their lives to the fullest, beautifying the town as if striving to live out the portion of life denied to those whose tomorrows were snatched away from them forever. The end. These are exhausting. They are extremely well written. Not Argonar, is it? Councilman Gongora is currently serving a suspension. I believe you have your own mission to handle, yes? Lord Tolton is currently visiting. Please wait a little longer.
Is going too far. I studied those maximums. Not to stress over that.
super shiny.
Please, go ahead.
Can't do anything with that until I think disc 4. Good to see you, Lieutenant Argnar. Gora's waiting for you. Gora's been waiting for you. Well, he can wait longer. I guess I can't get back. Oh yeah, there's a different way back there. Goodness, there's people all over the place. The likes of Lord Roxian would never understand the true merits of the great Lord Gongora. Holding him accountable for such a minor error? Laughable. Truly laughable. Grand Staff is brainchild of Gongora's research into magic. Those pigs in the council have no idea of its true worth. Excellent timing, Lieutenant Argnar. Prince Tolan has just left. Those lowly hacks in the council, how dare they get in the way of Lord Gongora's research? Oops, got too close to the elevator.
That woman. How could she be around without knowing?
I don't have to go up it yet. Lord Gongora has the second floor as always. Use this lift if you want to see him. Actually gonna go zip zooming around. Weird camera shifts. Get a bunch of treasures in the back room. Just sitting here. And then back here is one of the best hidden treasures in the entire game, and one of the ones that usually trips people up if they're getting the treasure trove achievement. It's hidden behind boxes that you don't even know, like you can push and pull any yet. And yet, even though this is my 4th time in the game, I've still never gotten that achievement. I will get it this time though. Flavor Ultra. Okay.
Good, you're here. I asked you here for only one reason.
Yeah, I'm aiming for 100%.
You are really short-tempered. I don't have a sword, okay? Easy. Why are you
I've spent hours trying to get that treasure trove achievement
messenger?
at the end of the game in all my previous playthroughs and never got it.
That's enough, Kyle. He's on our side.
Thanks. A little late, though.
We can use him. He's cunning and quick, and he has many connections. I want you to take him under investigation of Grand Staff. No way, sir.
You know, I thought he did that, my lord. His shoes. Hello?
Look, this other immortal joining the investigation, she might be dangerous. Why? The woman was once a pirate. I don't know how it happened, but she's now a soldier for our army. Well, the past is the past, and I know little else about her. Take Jensen with you. He can help keep her in check. Despite what else he may be, he has a healthy respect for women.
So, you know, I heard she was a lawyer. You guys played her. I mean, you've seen her, right? Okay, be that way. That's the way you deserve.
Pirate. All right. Understood.
All right, then. I'll be there early. Oh, yeah, you can count on it.
Remember, Kyle, you're the only one I can trust. I can't leave here for a while. The Grand Staff is my life's work. So if something is wrong, I want you, with your immortal powers, to find out what it is. Understood? You'll be briefed later. You should go now.
I'll be right behind you. Oh, he's gonna be fun to work with.
This is for your trouble.
Wow, nice. You know, my lord, I've been thinking, working with this guy, it's like playing with fire. I mean, did you see his eyes? I mean, that's creepy. I got a bad feeling about this whole thing. I mean, this little guarantee is not gonna be enough, I'm afraid, to keep an eye on him. You're gonna have to give me a little bit more. You know what I'm saying?
You're already under a magic contract. Don't get greedy.
Okay, that's some serious mojo. Easy.
Is your fee still unsatisfactory?
Okay, not funny. I'm not laughing, okay? I didn't stick my neck out for this, okay? Pain in the ass.
Yeah, I would say that the narrative and the character development is good. Except for Gungora. He's pretty ham-fisted the entire game. But yeah, I like Jansen's development. He falls into a few tropes, but he turns out being a really awesome character overall.
Hey, I've been looking everywhere for you. I heard about the Grand Staff investigation. Looks like we both got the short end of the stick. It's not enough that we just keep surviving, eh? There's always something. So, what did you learn in the council?
Nothing to do with you.
Really? Say, haven't we met somewhere before? Ugh. Nothing to worry about if you can't remember. Neither can I.
You too, huh?
I can't recall a thing. both of us lost our memory and are immortal? Maybe we met a long time ago. I started to get that feeling when I looked at you. When we met before, were we enemies? Or allies? Or maybe even lovers? Looking forward to starting our journey tomorrow, Kaim Argyar.
Tomorrow.
You still haven't been contacted by the council? You set out for Grand Staff tomorrow morning. I thought you would have heard by now. Oh, by the way, I'll be joining you on your little trip.
So you are going with me then?
Being late is strictly forbidden.
Seth's got a lot of energy. Oops, not the end. I do like how Kaim starts as the, like, gruff protagonist, you know, in the vein of Cloud or Squall, and then actually ends up getting quite a bit of growth as he gets more of his memories back. Yep. Yeah. Thank you for following and you know, chatting. You know, I'm planning on playing through this over the next couple weeks since I've got a bunch of time off around Christmas. So I'll be streaming it all. So it's been fun. All right. Head to the station, monorail or taxi. We're going to go by route of monorail to get a dream as well as the last piece of treasure here in Ura. Solve a little puzzle. I missed the dream. Oops. You know what? My dad works in a magic production facility. He's the boss of the whole place. I'm not the boss of anything, really. I'm glad she's proud of me, though. Everything I do for her. Oh, I just heard a cat in the game meow, not my cat. little liar. It's starting with the tragic song. Everyone in the marketplace hates the little girl, not yet 10 years old, and far from having outgrown the sweet innocence of childhood, she earns only open contempt from the grown-ups who have shops in the market. The reason is simple. She lies about everything. Hey, mister, I just saw a burglar go into a house. Look, lady, everything just fell off your shelves. Hey, everybody, did you hear what the traveler said? Bandits are planning to attack this market. Even the most harmless white lies can be annoying if repeated often enough, and the shopkeepers have found themselves growing angry. You better watch out for her, too, the lady greengrocer warns Kime. Nobody here falls for her lies anymore, so she's always on the lookout for newcomers or strangers. Somebody like you would be a perfect target for her. She could be right. Kime's new to town. He arrived a few days ago and just started working in the marketplace today. What do her parents do? Kime asks while unloading a cart full of vegetables. The woman frowns and shakes her head with a sigh. She doesn't have any. They died? The mother did, at least, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. She was a healthy young woman who never so much as caught a cold in her life, and one day collapsed, and that was it for her. How about the father? She sighs more deeply and says, he left to find a job in the city. Parents used to operate a variety store in the market, though the mother almost single-handedly took care of the actual buying and selling of the many goods they carried. As soon as she died, the shop's fortunes took a plunge, until it was eventually taken over by someone else. The father went off to a distant capital city, in search of a good-paying job that would enable him to cover their debts. He promised to come back in 6 months, but he's been gone for a whole year now. Letters used to arrive from him on occasion, care of his friend the tailor, but those two gave out about 6 months ago. Guess you could say it's sad for such a little girl to be waiting around for her father to come home, but still. The girl now sleeps in a corner of the communal storehouse run by the people of the marketplace. We all used to talk about taking care of her, to be stand-in parents for her until her father comes back. This is no surprise to Kime. He knows from experience that all the people who work in the marketplace, not just this plump, kindly women, are good-hearted and generous despite their limited means. Otherwise, they never would have hired a stranger like himself. But long before that first 6 months went by, we were all heartily sick of her. She was a sweet, simple girl while her mother was alive, but this experience has left her kind of twisted. All of her sweetness is gone. Of course, we all feel sorry for her, and we take turns feeding her and dressing her and hand-me-downs, but the way she keeps telling lies to all the grown-ups, nobody really cares about her anymore. Why can't she see that? She must be lonely, don't you think? With a pained smile, the woman shrugs and says, that's enough gabbing for one day. Work, work. And she goes back inside the shop. Kime is sorting the vegetables he has unloaded in front of the shop when he hears a little voice behind him. Hey, mister, you new here? It's the girl. Uh-huh. You're not from the town, are you? No, I'm not. Are you living upstairs while you work here? For a while, at least. That's what I'm hoping to do. I'll tell you a secret, okay? It's starting already. Okay, Kime says without pausing in his work. There's a ghost in the marketplace. The people here don't tell anybody about it because it's bad for business, but it's really here. I see it all the time. Really? Kime responds with feigned surprise. He decides to play along with her rather than scold her for lying. In this endlessly long life of his, he has encountered any number of children who have lost their parents or been abandoned by him. The sadness and loneliness of children who have been cast out in the wild world alone are exactly what Kime feels himself as he continues to wander through the infinite flow of time. What kind of ghost? A woman, and I know who she is. It's the ghost of a mother who lost her child, she says. Her little girl, her only child, died in an epidemic. Overcome with grief, the mother chose to die. Now her ghost appears in the market every night, searching for her daughter. Poor mother. She killed herself so she could be with her daughter? But she can't find her in the other world either? So she keeps looking for her here and calling out, where are you? Hurry and come with Mommy to the other world. The girl tells her story with deadly seriousness. Don't you think it's sad? She asks Kime. She actually has tears in her eyes, which is precisely why Kime knows she is lying. Even if he had not been warned by the woman, he would know this was a lie based on what she told him about the girl's background. Kime carefully arranges bunches of well-ripened grapes in the display crate and asks the girl, "Why do you think the mother can't find the daughter?" "What?" the girl asks with a dazed stare. "Well," he explains, "the girl's not in the other world, and she's not wandering around in this world, so where is she?" Kime does not mean this to be a cross-examination. He simply feels that someone who lies out of sorrow can have a far easier time of it by recognizing the lie for what it is. The loneliness of a girl who has lost her mother and been abandoned by her father consists not in telling one little lie, but having to keep on lying. "Huh, now that you mention it, that's a good point," the girl says, smiling calmly. "Really, where did the girl go?" Kime momentarily considers pointing at the girl as to say, "Right here." Before he can do so, she continues, "This is the first time anybody ever asked me that. You're kind of different." "I wonder." "No, you are. You're different," the girl insists. "I think we can be friends." Her smile deepens. Kime smiles back at her, saying nothing. Just then they hear the lady greengrocer coming from the back of the shop, and the girl dashes away. Just before she disappears around a corner into the alleyway, the girl gives Kime a little wave as if to say, "See you soon." For the first time, the face of the girl with the all-too grown-up speaking style shows a hint of childness befitting her years. The girl begins coming to see Kime at the shop several times a day, when the lady grocer is not around. She tells him one lie after another. "I baked cookies with my mother last night. I wanted to give you some, but they were so good I ate them all. Bandits kidnapped me when I was a little baby. My father came to save me and beat up all the bandits, so I didn't get killed. My house, it's a big white one at the foot of the mountain. You're new here, so you probably don't know it. It's the biggest house in town. You don't have a family, you're all alone. Poor Kime, I wish I could share some of my happiness with you." All her lies are born of sorrow. Sad, lonely lies. She could never tell the market people who knew her background. At the end of every chat with Kime, as she's leaving, she holds her finger to her lips and says, "This is just our little secret. Don't tell the lady grocer." Of course, Kime says nothing to anyone. If he happens to find himself in a situation where market people are speaking ill of the girl, he quietly slips away. Lies and disparagements are funny things, but they don't take shape because someone tells them, rather because someone listens to them and voices agreement with them. A truly isolated individual can never speak ill of anyone. The same can be said regarding lies. Because she has someone to tell her lies to, the girl need not fall into the abyss of true isolation. To protect her small, sad share of happiness, Kime plays the role of the listener, raising no objections. One day, when the girl comes to see Kime, she takes special care not to be noticed by the lady grocer or the owners of the neighboring shops. "Tell me, mister, are you planning to stay here a long, long time?" "No, I'm not," Kime says, continuing to unload vegetables and fruit. "You'll be leaving when you save up enough money?" "Probably." "But you don't have enough yet?" "I'm getting there," he says, turning a strained smile on the girl. This is a white lie of his own. He already has enough money to support himself on the road. Nor has he taken his current live-in job because he needs money so badly. He's here because he's not found a destination he wants to travel to. A journey without a destination is an endless journey. Wise men say that you need dreams and goals in life, but dreams to accomplish and goals to realize shine as guideposts in life precisely because life is finite. So then, what should be the dreams and goals of one who has been burdened with a life that has no end? Kime's is not a journey to be hurried. Nor is it one that can be hurried. Perhaps drifting day after day with no destination cannot even be called a journey. "If I were you," says the girl, "I'd get out of this marketplace as soon as I had saved up enough for 2 or 3 days of traveling." He responds to her with a silent, pained smile. What would be the look on the girl's face if Kime were to tell her, "I'm staying here for you. I'm finding the meaning of my life now and providing you with a listener for your lives." The moment these words come to mind, words he can never actually speak to her, the girl looks around furtively and says in an ear whisper, "If you want to get out of here soon, I know a good way you can do it." "A good way?" "Sneak into the tailor's and steal his money. There's a little pot in the cabinet at the back of his shop. It's full of money." "Are you telling me to steal it?" "Yes." She looks straight at Kime without the slightest show of doubt in her eyes. In all seriousness, she goes on displaying, "the tailor deserves to have his place robbed. The money in the pot," she says, "is tainted." I know this girl, a good friend of mine, she says.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Oh, Siri just activated. I know this girl, a good friend of mine, she says, and it's so sad about her. Her mother died and her father went to work in the capital, but she's all alone. Her father was supposed to come and get her after 6 months, but she hasn't heard a thing from him. Yet another lie born of sorrow. Kime calmly asks, is there some connection between your friend and the tailor? Of course, she says, a close connection. What's really happening is the father was sending her money every month the way he was supposed to help make her life in the town easier. And he kept writing to her. He wanted to tell her that he found a good job in the city, and she should come live with him right away. He's too busy to come for her, so she should come to him. And he sent her money for the trip, but none of the letters of the money ever reached the girl. And why do you think that is? Before Kime can answer, the girl says, the mistake he made was to send the letters and money care of the tailor. He's been keeping all the money for himself. Kime looks away from the girl. In order to prop up one sad lie, the girl has piled on a still sadder one, a lie that can hurt another person. This is the saddest thing of all. The lock on the tailor's back door would be really easy to break, the girl adds. And she gallops away without waiting for Kime's reply. The girl comes running into the grocery store the next morning, shouting for the owner. She says directly to the woman, not to Kime, burglars broke into the tailor shop last night. She says she saw a number of burglars sneak in late at night after the marketplace emptied out. My oh my, says the woman with a forced smile. That must have been just terrible. She's obviously not taking the girl seriously. But it's true, though. I really saw them. Look, little girl, I've had about all I can take from you. You're such a little liar. It scares me to death to think of you growing up to be a burglar or a con artist or something. I'm busy trying to open my shop now. Do you mind? Try it on someone else. She is hardly through speaking when someone outside shouts, Help! Someone come! The tailor is standing in the street looking horrified and screaming at the top of his lungs. Burglars! They took all of my money! The little girl slips away as the tailor comes in. The marketplace is in an uproar. The girl was not lying, that much is certain. But, all too accustomed to her lies, people now suggest the possibility of another kind of lie. Maybe she did it. What do you think? And so it begins. I think you may be right. Talk about play acting. I wouldn't put it past her. Let's go find her. We'll make her tell, even if we have to get a little rough with her. No one objects to the suggestion. Some run off to the storehouse, and others start searching the marketplace. Can't find her anywhere. The storehouse is empty. She ran away with the money. As the searchers return their reports and speculation, Kime finally understands everything. After all her sad lies, the girl has left behind one final truth. She couldn't have gotten very far. Yeah, we can still catch her. Little thief, wait till I get my little hands on her. Men raged, women fanned the flames. Good, give her what she deserves. We're so nice to her, and now look at how she treats us. We can't let her get away with it. A dozen men start to run after her, but Kime stands tall in the road, blocking their way. Hey, move it. Men are out for blood, but Kime knows if he felt like it, he could knock them all down, and they wouldn't be able to lay a finger on him. Instead, he relaxes his powerful stance and throws a leather coin pouch on the ground in front of the men. Stolen money is in there, he says. What? Sorry, I stole it. Confused stir quickly turns into angry shouts. Kime raises his hands to show he will not resist. Do what you like with me, I'm ready. The lady grocer breaks through the wall, man, shouting at him, How could you do this, Kime? I wanted the money, that's all. And you're not just saying this to protect the girl? The woman's intuition is too sharp. Forcing a smile, Kime turns to the tailor and says, It was in the pot in the cabinet, right? The man nods energetically. It's true, he must have done it. I had the money in the pot. He's the thief. The money wasn't the only thing in the pot, though, was it? What are you saying? You had some letters in there, too. Letters from the girl's father. That's a lie. Don't be crazy. It's true, though. No, there couldn't have been any letters. I threw them all. The tailor claps his hand over his mouth, but it's too late. The lady grocer glares at them. What's this all about, she demands. No, I mean, you'd better tell us everything. People's angry glances turn from Kime to the tailor. Some days later, 2 letters arrive from the girl addressed to the lady at the grocery store and the nice man upstairs. Kime's letter says the girl managed to find her father in the capital. He has no way of knowing if this is true or not. It's hard to imagine a little girl finding her father in the big city so easily without knowing his address or workplace. Still, he decides to believe it. When the girl's letter says, "I am happy now." Human beings are the only animals that lie. Lies to deceive people, lies to benefit oneself, and lies to protect one's own heart from the threat of crushing loneliness and sorrow. If there were no lies in the world, much strife and misunderstanding would surely disappear. On the other hand, perhaps because this world is a mixture of truth and lies, people have learned how to believe. When he's through reading the letter, Kime turns to the woman. Concentrating on her own letter, she shyly raises her head when she senses Kime looking at her. "I give up," she declares. "Listen to this. I am so grateful to you and the others in the marketplace for all you've done to me. I'll never forget you as long as I live." A liar to the bitter end, that girl, she says, smiling through her tears. The end. That was a good one. They don't all have to be dark and tragic, even though that one had some darkness in it. So many elevators. already talked to him earlier.
Why are we leaving? We should have already been gone by now.
I'm waiting for somebody.
What? Who?
There's somebody else on the team.
Huh? I haven't heard about that. This is the other guy?
Why are you late?
Can't you tell? All I have got to do is certain things before leaving on a mission like this. I know what I have to do. Thank you. My love. Do as I just is now off me. Oh, don't say that. Oh, nice. Oh, you because I'm already missing you. Hey, that counts as 15 women. Hey, 15 for her, for her, for her. That's 45 minutes. All that.
We're gonna wait for you, you worthless drunk. You poor things. You know what? You're free to go. Thanks for bringing us.
Yeah, what do you want?
Get out of here. Shoot.
Not very nice. Okay, bye-bye, girls. Don't cry. I'll be back.
Just what we need. More useless baggage.
Hey, that's not nice. I'm gonna come in real handy. You know, you can count on it. Oh, hey,
Who's counting on what?
ow. Hey, you're so angry. Ow. Hey, you ready?
Okay, why did my controller stop working? Okay, you're making this difficult. You're on my arm. Okay, that was really weird. My controller decided to stop responding. Okay, yeah, mortals. So mortals learn skills. Immortals can't learn skills except by basically junctioning to a mortal to learn what they know. And then you get points after battle that help you learn it. It's kind of like learning skills in Final Fantasy IX, where you can learn them from equipment or from a mortal party member. And only mortals that are in your party learn them as well. So when you get the full set of immortals in your team, you can only learn from one at a time. And then immortals get skill slots, and those can be expanded with skill seeds. So we'll set everyone to learn from Jansen. I think we want white magic first so that we can use other people's MP to heal. And we'll also give Sith Flame Ring and Crisis Defense Boost, Actual Analysis. Well, this is quite rare. Running out of travelers in a place like this. If you're on a journey, sure I've lucked into running into me. I just got some new wares in stock, so we'll take a look at what I have to offer. Beyond the Great Gate is a dangerous region infested with monsters. You'd best be prepared if you're traveling through there. From equipment to medicine, I've got everything you need. We don't have a bunch of money, but we do want to buy some elemental bombs. Just because they can be useful. We've got antidotes, we've got mana herbs. Equipment wise, we don't need to buy a Thief's Bracelet because we can just learn it from Jansen. And then equip it in a skill slot. Though, could just buy one just for the heck of having it. I do want to buy a few more flare bombs because there will be a boss coming up that is weak to fire, and having those around is nice. We're in a small and humble shop in the city of Ura. If you're in need of medicine or such, pay me a visit. I think you'll be quite happy with what you find. Alright, so Ypsilon Mountains is the new place. Highlands of Wool. I think this just takes us back to the little area that we were in before. Yep. Just double checking. Alright, so I'm gonna make a save. I'm going to show this real quick. I'm just going to leave it on the world map screen. I didn't find this until maybe 30 or 40 hours into playing because I had left to use the restroom one time while leaving on the world map. But this world map music is good, and then it turns into crazy Nobuo Uematsu rock ballad. And so we'll listen to that. And then after that, I will call my stream for the night to get to bed. But I look forward to playing more on stream as the next couple weeks go by. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I had, I think, 2 new followers, 3 new followers today. And then we get this rock ballad, and it is fantastic. Yeah. Thanks for watching. It's a fantastic game, and it doesn't get nearly enough people streaming it for how good it is. I kind of wish that Microsoft would either do a remaster of it or release it on like PC so that more people can learn about it, but we'll see. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good night.